RowdCAST contains adult languages, adult themes, and adult situations. Viewer discretion is advised.
No! No! No!
Entering the RowdCAST, an online radio podcast brought to you by me, your host, Rowdy Radloff, live from Toledo, Ohio, doing it like I always do, bringing you the best of the best, often imitated, never duplicated, the one, the only, the motherfucking RowdCAST. From the internet, uncensored, unfiltered, saying whatever the hell I want to say, when I want to say it. You know how this goes. Welcome to the show. We're live again in the RowdCAST studios from Toledo, Ohio. Thank you for joining me in another episode of your favorite online radio show, and I am Rowdy Radloff, and this is the RowdCAST. If you've never been to the RowdCAST before, welcome. The Skype line is open at the RowdCAST. That's what you would look me up, and you can call in. Let me look at something real quick. I have Skype taking over my life. We'll jump off this. It's being all crazy. Being all nuts right now. Give me 1 second so I can get this under control. Fucking technical difficulties in here. Freaking me out. I did it. I fucking survived. Holy shit. That was fucking intense. Maybe I shouldn't have smoked so much before I started that. But the Skype line is open, so you can Skype me at the RowdCAST, and I'll take calls while we're on here. We're also live on Spreaker.com. You can chat on there live while the show's going on. I'll be there if you have something to say. Speak your mind. Please feel free to debate and say whatever the hell you're feeling, because I will. I won't hold back. I got some weird stuff. You know, every day is fucking weird in this world, but I think got some interesting things to talk about. And I do believe this is 46. This is 46. So I mean, for at least 46 hours worth of fucking RowdCAST material. It's pretty awesome. I did one and I thought that would be it. And here we are, 46 episodes later. So, it's a proud moment for me. Coming up on, almost 4,000 plays for the RowdCAST. So it's glorious. You guys bring tears to my eyes. I'm glad fucking people are still checking this shit out. I'm trying to get people loaded on here. But if you didn't tune into the last week, I had Matt with me, Matt Strauss. He's a local up-and-coming comedian, and I've been touching base with him, seeing how, he's been doing some open mics and stuff like that. So, keeping in touch. I think I might get him back here in the next couple of days, or in the next week or so. We'll definitely have Matt on, and we'll pick his brains some more about the comedy. And I'm going to go definitely check him out at one of these open mics and see how he does it. Fucking, I have to talk about this because it's just crazy. My neighbor, he's nicest guy in the world. Guy means fucking, he doesn't mean no harm. He's definitely an awesome guy, but he's one of those people where he's trying to help, but it's like every time he opens his mouth, it comes out like that. And I dodge him. I don't want him to see me sometimes because I know he always sparks a conversation. It's like the shit that he says is just like stupid shit. It's like, I'm there picking up dog shit, and he comes over and he leans against the fence. He's just watching me. He said, just looking at me. I look over at him. He says, "You like picking up dog shit?" I'm like, "No, Russ, I don't like picking up dog shit." He's like, "Yeah, I don't either." Oh, okay, man, okay. And then, like, I'm trying to think of some of the other shit he said. He's just, I'm mowing the lawn, and he comes up to me while I'm mowing, and he walks up with his arms crossed, and I'm mowing, so I turn the mower off because he's just standing there. I'm like, yeah, Russ, how can I help you? And he's like, don't you just hate mowing? I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm like, anything else? Like with my hand, you got anything else to add to that? Or you just don't like mowing? Yeah, I don't like mowing. You came over and stopped me from mowing my lawn because you felt that you needed to tell me that mowing sucks. I agree with you. But, he's just one of those guys, and it's like he's always got a remedy for something, and, he's a character, man, but he makes me laugh. But like I said, sometimes it's like I don't even want to start a conversation, so I like dodge him and like see him coming. Like today, I just like left the mower running, so I couldn't. He was trying to talk, and I just like walked by him holding the mower down, just fucking keeping it nice and loud. So anything he said was muffled out, and I didn't hear him. I just kept walking. That's terrible, but I mean, he's really like that. Sorry if you guys hear any sounds in the background. I'm hoping that my washing machine, in there, it sounds like I'm fucking fracking for oil. I don't know if it's going bad or what, but the thing is loud, man. It sounds like like we're docking a space station or something in the room behind me. So if that's feeding onto the microphone, I apologize. As always, we have the RowdCAST is live at Spreaker.com, the RowdCAST 46. You can follow me there. You can join the chat that's there, and we can chat while this show is live. So I said, yeah, boy, put that up there. If you're there and you want to debate something or talk about something, you feel free to speak your mind, and I'll usually respond with you while the show's going on. So that's how we do things. If you're on Twitter, I'm at the RowdCAST. Hit me up on there. You can tweet me during the show. You can, check me out on Facebook too, the RowdCAST. So we are back to do this thing, a little special Wednesday, right to the middle of the week edition. I love to have people on with me. I love to have guests. It's awesome. But I also love to do these by myself. I love a little bit of everything. So, this is the RowdCAST. So I have to show you why it's called the RowdCAST. I'm a little bit different. I'm not like everybody else. First off, let's just check. Let me just play this clip for you. You just listen to this one and tell me if anything's wrong with it.
Victor.
Hold on. I gotta go back. Alright, check this out.
CNN, that lightning.
Can we go to the beginning? The fucking clip, CNN.
In South Carolina. Senior
Let's reload the fucking page. It's gonna be worth it, I promise you. The payoff is what it's all about. Let's check this out here for a second.
New information about a fire at an historic African-American church in South Carolina. Senior FBI officials tell CNN that lightning may have been the cause of the fire at the Mount Zion AME Church.
A CNN weather analysis shows that there were 4 lightning strikes in the immediate vicinity of the church last night. This marks the 6th black church to go up in flames in recent weeks since that Charleston shooting.
So, what happened to the other 5? Did the other 5 get hit by lightning too? You know? And it's like, it shows this like fucking map, and it's got all these X's on it, and there's like 3 X's in slightly around this church. It's like, okay, not buying that one, but nice try. You know, that's just fucking crazy. It's like, I mean, really, was the senior official from the FBI, maybe it was a lightning, you know, maybe God's mad about something, you know. Just like people say, maybe God hates fags, you know. How stupid are you to hold a sign that says that? It's like, bitch, how do you even know what God likes? You know? How do you know God hates fags? Maybe he hates you. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't hate anyone. That would sound like a God. I don't know. The God that I'd like. But I don't know. To me, that just sounds fishy. It says, there's five other churches all over the South that burned down. That's the 6th one, but it's that one was lightning. You know, it's okay. It's like, I'm not really fucking buying that. Nice try though. One of the other things. Talk about fucking. He's having a bad week. They're having a very bad week. Very, very bad. North Carolina, the fucking Sharks, man. I just read, just had the 10th attack within, I want to say 2 weeks. All kinds of different Sharks too attacking. It's they just had some dude earlier that had he got bit like 8 times or something by a gray shark. It was like a 7-foot shark. You know, that could do some damage, man. That's they said, and of course, this place that all these shark attacks are happening in is the Outer Banks of North Carolina. It's actually where I'm going on vacation here in a couple months. So awesome, out of all the places in the world that could be getting hit up, it's somewhere where I plan on getting in the ocean. So, and I still plan on getting in the ocean. I'm not gonna puss out. That's definitely not gonna happen. I really truly feel that sharks aren't looking to eat people. They just may mistake you as their food, or something happens where they're coming to test you out to see, if you're food or what. So, I don't think sharks, are like Jaws. I don't think that they're out to, every human they see, they come straight at and kill. I don't think that's really how they are. They're animals, and I think they think with animal brains. They're fish at the end of the day, and but it does happen. Things like this, they do happen. So it's Mother Nature. I don't think it's going to be anything major. I'm sure that in the next couple coming weeks, you won't hear anything more about the sharks. But kind of scary time if you're already freaked out by sharks, or you have a big fear of sharks. I'm sure you're squirming a little bit. making sure they figure out what's going on down there. With all that being said, what I really want to talk about tonight is I just seen this thing earlier where it was like, I'm sure most people would know that today they banned, there's TV Land, they play the old classic TV shows and stuff like that. They launched this thing and they said, it was in a news story, they're banning the Dukes of Hazzard. They're going to no longer play the Dukes of Hazzard because of the old General Lee, the car that they'd always drive had a Confederate flag on it. And they said that, before they got in any trouble, they wanted to take precautions and not play that anymore because it's offensive. And, that to me just, I get it. I get why the flag is offensive, and I get it. Maybe if I was black, I would see it a little differently, but it's still part of like culture. That's part of your, almost like your heritage. That's something that was always there. That show was, and it's part of it was part of our culture, part of our pop culture at that time. And I just don't think you can take that away and show it so people can't see it. And, it's hard to find, kind of shovel dirt on it. Because, it was something they thought was okay back then. They didn't maybe feel the way that some people think that they felt. But we don't know. And it's just, I just don't understand. Like, I just feel like you're taking away something that was a staple or something that was there. It's just, I don't feel it's offensive at all. I think that everything now is getting so politically correct. We gotta, correct everything. We have to watch. Oh, you can't say that because, it'll offend these people, and you can't do this because it'll offend these people, and you can't say this or look in this direction at a certain time because, it's just not going to work. Somebody will be offended by it. Everything's offensive. Everything's not okay. Comedy's not okay. We're pushing to this time where, nothing. The government will tell us what is funny, when to laugh. Like when you've seen those old shows they tape and they'd light the sign up that say applause, please, or, clap your hands or something like that. And everyone's, and clapping their hands. I mean, that's really what we're coming to, where, your emotions, you're told to say something a certain way or think a certain way. And it's crazy. It's really, really crazy. You can't, I'm so huge on freedom of speech and saying whatever the fuck I want to say when I fucking want to say it. I can't really push that enough. That's why I love this. That's why I do this, because I can say, nobody can censor me. Nobody can say, no, you can't broadcast that to, thousands and millions of people. You're not allowed because you said the F word. Nobody can say that to me. I'm free. I feel my freedom. That's what I can't even explain enough is the freedom that I feel from doing this, and the liberation that people can hear my voice, and it's just my connection with the listeners, whoever's listening to this. And it's me speaking right to you, and nobody can disturb that, and nobody can hinder that. It's almost like we're having a conversation, and that's why I love this podcasting thing, and I love this idea, and I love people getting involved in it, and telling their friends about it, and interacting during the show, so we can laugh together and debate things together and learn things together and revelations and stuff. That's the kind of experience that I want. And I can't, pretty soon they're going to come after podcasting. They're going to, it's really, really fucking intense. It bothers me so much, and that's why there's when things come around, like South Park, and they just break all the rules and say, fuck you to them and do what they want. And, it's just, they're going to try to take it away. Eventually, you won't be able to say this there in a certain place or, do this at a certain time. And it's just, that's what it's coming to. And with the internet, it's like if somebody would, when you pour like some water out and you try to like dam it off, but there's all kinds of different ways. You're trying to stop it, but it's still going to keep running, and you're trying to block it all at one time, but it just keeps, kind of moving around your hand and stuff like that. That's ultimately what the internet is, what this podcasting thing is. That's them trying to, I can't think of it, the Commission of Radio and Broadcast. They, they keep trying to put laws down and restrictions, and you can't do this and can't do that, but internet is just, the technology so fast and it spreads so rapidly, it just goes around them, and we just go around them, and we continue to go around. But it's, we do this. It's part of human civilization, to maneuver and move around things. So that's why I'm saying it's interesting about the PC thing. But I just won't. I'm afraid to lose. You give up one thing here and you give up one thing there, then pretty soon it starts to snowball, and you've lost everything. Oh, you gave them up. When you gave up this right and did this, you lost your privileges to do that, to do this anymore. And that's what we're afraid we're getting to. It really, excuse me, it bothers me because, I'm a person that when I'm watching a movie on TV and something's edited, like it irks me. It bothers me so much when I'm watching Die Hard and John McClane goes and says, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, and I'm watching it and it's yippee-ki-yay, buddy, or something. It's like, what? Like, that is the movie. That's part of the movie. You edited that and changed that. Him saying motherfucker, you took that out and put in some weird shit. To make it okay for TV, you've changed the line. That's what makes John McClane John McClane. And things like that drive me crazy. It sounded like a bomb just went off. Everything vibrated, and it sounded like an explosion. So I figured I would document that since we're live right now. You never know what you're gonna see. If anybody has any questions, and I especially, wanted to make sure that if you have questions for Matt, because I'll have him on here again, get some questions into me and say some shit that you'd like us to talk about and you'd like to hear from Matt's point of view. But, I'm worried, man. I'm worried to fucking give it up. I don't want to give up anything. And, I was sitting here doing a little research and listening to this shit like I usually do. And this made me think of this skit from probably my favorite comic of all time. It's classic, and I may get in trouble for playing this on the podcast by YouTube, but we're going to try it. And, here's the great George Carlin. The 7 words you can't say on TV.
Well, hell yeah. Sometimes it's okay, but not all the time. And they're the only words that seem to have that restriction. I mean, there are a lot of words you can say whenever you want, Pneumonia! Nobody gives you a lot of... All right, you can't yell it in the hospital a great deal, but what the hell? There are words that you can say, no problem. Topography! No one has ever gone to jail for screaming topography. But there are some words that you can go to jail for. There are some words that we just have decided we will not say all the time. Sometimes, okay, if you're running through the jungle chasing somebody that we're at war with, you can holler them. If you're shooting a criminal, it's okay. It's the all-American thing. Dirty fucking crook. But if you're with the bishop's wife at lunch, it's better not to ask for the goddamn lettuce. You know what I mean? It's just like we've decided there'll be some words we won't say all the time. And I was just trying to find out which words they were. For sure. All of them. I wanted a list. Because nobody gives you a list. That's the problem. They don't give you a list. Wouldn't you think it'd be normal if they didn't want you to say something to tell you what it is? Nobody even tells you when you're a kid what the words are that you're supposed to avoid. You have to say them to find out which ones they are. Shit! Oh, fuck! That's two. Oh, Ma, that's enough trial and error, huh? Please, Ma, give me a list, huh? All right, you're 6 years old now, and here's the list of words your dad and I don't ever want to hear you say. Oh, hey, thanks, Ma. Boy, that's going to save me an ass kicking or two. Yeah, you never know what's going to be on the list. Because it's always somebody else's list. You didn't make that up. Somebody told you that shit. They told you, better not say that. So you gotta, and you don't know what's going to be on their list. God, people's lists even change from day to day. Some people on Friday night got a list, about 2 or 3 words. Sunday morning, goddamn, there's 27 words. These are the same people 2 days later. Different list. So you got to kind of watch out what you're going to believe from them. The trouble is, I was trying to find out what these words might be, and I wanted to know the ones that you could never say on television. I mean the filthy words that are always filthy. There are a lot of these little two-way, double entendre words that have 2 meanings, words that are okay part of the time. I call them like part-time filth. Some of these words, they're only 50% dirty. You have words like ass. Ass is hardly even a dirty word anymore, but it has a few meanings that you can't say on television. That's what I was talking about. What can you say on television? That's another one of those places where we can't use these words all the time. But some of them are all right some of the time. Ass is all right on television. You can say on television things like, well, you've made a perfect ass of yourself tonight. But you can't say, hey, let's go get some ass. Bitch. Bitch is another word like that. Same kind of word. It's only dirty part of the time. Depends on what you mean by bitch. You might be the lady from the San Diego Zoo visiting one of the Tonight shows, and you might just have a bunch of little canines with you there. One of them is a female, and you say, there's the bitch, Johnny, and it's okay, fine. Just don't refer to the singer the same way. That's it. Is that bitch going to do another number? Yes. Animals are fine on those two-way words, and that's it. That's what I was trying to find. The words that were always dirty, not just part of the time, but completely filth. Well, in looking for these words, I kept finding new categories. We have so many ways of describing these dirty words. We have more ways to describe dirty words than we actually have dirty words. That seems a little strange to me. It seems to indicate that somebody was awfully interested in these words. They kept referring to them. They called them bad words, dirty, filthy, foul, vile, vulgar, coarse, in poor taste, unseemly, street talk, gutter talk, locker room language, barracks talk, bawdy, naughty, saucy, raunchy, rude, crude, lewd, lascivious, indecent, profane, obscene, blue, off-color, risque, suggestive, cursing, cussing, swearing, and all I could think of was shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. That's all I had. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. That was my original list. I knew it wasn't complete, but it was a starter set, you know? Shit, piss, fuck... Yes, WBAI is the one who played them. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. Now, that was the original list. We've added a few words since then. We've added fart, turd, and twat. And I know there are some other words that many of you are wondering about, why they haven't been considered, why they haven't shown up on the list thus far. We're looking at them all very closely. Some of your favorites might make the list this year. Asshole, ball bag, hard-on, piss hard, blue balls, taint, nookie, snatch, box, pussy, pecker, peckerhead, pecker tracks, jism, joint, Donecker, dork, poontang, cornhole, and dingleberry. Dingleberry, a very popular word. And to my way of thinking, dingleberry, a rather innocent-sounding word. Dingleberry sounds Christmassy to me, you know. Let's put one on the tree, Dad.
God, it's fucking great. I mean, how true is that shit? I mean, for real. Like, how spot on is that? What's up, Matt? Matt said he's tuning in. How you doing, brother? You know, and that's how it is. They're just adding more stuff. That list just gets longer and longer every year. They add some more words to it, some things that you can't say, some images that you can't show, some things you can't do. You know, my biggest thing with it is you can't take that away. It's like if something in your heritage, you know, and I hate to say heritage because I don't like Dukes of Hazzard. I have nothing, but it's our culture, you know, the American culture, a big staple to some people. They should be able to do whatever they want because it's still a freedom. You know, like if somebody wants to hang a fucking Nazi flag and walk around with fucking Nazi bandanas and shit, and you know, they should be allowed to. This is America. You should be. If you're not hurting no one, you know, you have the freedom of speech. You know, you have freedom of religion. You have freedom to assemble. Freedom to assemble means that you can, you know, all come together, and you know, if you're gonna riot, you know, you're gonna riot peacefully. But you know, if you're all coming together, you have the right to assemble in public. That's part of it, and say rabble, rabble, rabble. We don't agree with what the fuck's going on. That is your right. And they, you know, with the police, we have all these police that are in riot gear and military, look like, you know, military officers walking our streets, and they come at people, so you have them clash. You know, it keeps happening. They're really scary. You know, it's they look like military, and they're walking our streets. And I don't want to get off on a tangent, you know, of this crazy shit, but it starts with something so simple like saying that you can't show that flag anymore, or saying that you can't say that word anymore. It starts that simple, and it turns into what it fucking turns into, and it becomes a serious problem for a lot of people. It boggles my mind to think how these things are, but I think I know what I'm talking about when I say that. You know, you can't give up the small things. You can't give up the small fights because it's your right to show what you want to show and watch what you want to watch and do that kind of stuff. You know, that's part of the American way. That's part of the American dream. If you want to go out fucking back in your backyard and get butt naked and, you know, make a little fucking man out of leaves and shit and have them fucking, you know, make a little shrine and you want to pray to that and that's your God and that's, you guys should have the fucking right to do that. I mean, it's that simple. You should definitely have the right to praise to whatever God you want to, you know, praise to. As long as you're not hurting, you know, anyone around you or doing anything that affects somebody else's way of life or hurts someone else, that's part of America. That's why this country was so great and is still so great, has the potential to be that great, because that's what it's always been about, is, you know, you and your next door neighbor can believe two totally different things. And as long as it doesn't affect each other, you guys are good. You're good. You know, you want to do what you want to do inside the privacy of your own home, you should be allowed. There's no reason that you shouldn't be allowed. That it gets really scary when we start fiddling around, like I said, and pulling some of these things away, because it'll turn into a huge fucking snowball, and then we're gonna have serious issues. And I really, really, really don't want that to happen. I'm all about explicit content. I think you should be a certain age when you hear certain content and are allowed to be exposed to certain content. I really think that's the job of the parents, you know, because that stuff's going to be here forever. And I think that parents need to do a better job. You know, it's for real. I don't think that you can keep putting restrictions on certain words and putting restrictions on certain images, or especially taking something that's out American culture. You know, the General Lee. Like I said, I'm not even a fan of Dukes of Hazzard, but you know what it is. It's a symbol, and you're just going back in time and you're ripping that symbol out of fucking time, and you're saying, nope, we're gonna, like I said, throw some dirt on it. Nobody needs to watch that anymore. That's because we said so. That's not okay, you know. And that flag can't fly. It's not okay. It's just it's not just about that. It goes farther than that. And it's you think maybe you're doing it for the good. You know, maybe that means something to you, but in the bigger scheme of things, that's what you're just a pawn, and you're using that to, you know, kind of direct attention away from the people that our attention should be on. You know, the bigger wigs and the corporates and the, you know, people that are going to make money and pass bills and do things because they can have the ability to do things like that. Somebody's going to get rich off of something, you know, some way. I mean, that's really how it fucking goes. But I could go on forever about that shit. It drives me crazy. The Skype is open. If anybody would want to call, you know, I do have that. And the Skype name is the RowdCAST. You can Skype me in there. I don't know if I'm on the right one. Maybe it's Rowdy Radloff. I don't know. We'll figure it out here. I think it looks like it might be Rowdy 420. I don't know how I got on that, but interesting. But yeah, Rowdy 420 would be the Skype, I think. And you're free to Skype whenever, though. Doesn't have to be now. It could be whenever the fuck you want. But yeah, man, I heard that this morning about them doing that with the Duke of Hazzard, and it really just made my blood boil, and it made me upset. And we can't give them small victories, because they're going to start taking away things that they're going to blow your mind. It's going to be like, no way, there's no way they could touch that, and they'll be like, oh, it's going to disappear, you know. And I'm like I said, I'm a big stickler about restricted content. It should be restricted content for a reason, and I'm a big advocate by you know, parents need to be parents and don't say, you know, those movies and games and music and shit made my kid this way, because that's not how it happens. You know, entertainment doesn't mold you. You know, life experiences mold you. Anybody knows that. You don't have to be a fucking smart guy like me to know that. You know, I think I've really, you know, made my point clear there about that. And I just, like I said, I think we need to pay attention to that, because there's been people trying to get rid of us forever. Not make us not be able to say this or not be able to do this. And it's only gotten worse from what it used to be. We don't get away with half the shit anymore. The one other thing I wanted to talk about was these guys. I don't think I talked about them much. The guys that went on the run. I don't think I did. And they killed the one, and then they shot the other one. And yeah, it's right there. It's saying swimmer is 10th shark victim in the Carolinas. They have 10 of them in not even 3 weeks. So, but these dudes, they said that they used only little saws, like filing saws, and they broke out of jail. Both of them. There's 2 of them that broke out. And they got out and they rehearsed it before they released. And once they released and they got out, they didn't know what to do. They took off running, and they said they were going to go. They were thinking they were going to the Canadian border, and they're not sure if that was the plan, because they said that they thought they were going to go to Mexico too. But I mean, these 2 dudes broke out of a high security prison with, they claim, like 2 filing saws, and they did it. They were brave enough that they rehearsed it the night before and did it. So it's really interesting. I got dogs going crazy in here. Kylie, go. It's just like, it's really a plot out of a movie. They rehearsed the shit, and then they used filing saws and filed out of their cells and got away. Like, that's very interesting. So, that's pretty much all I got. All I got to say, but I'm thinking that Sunday night possibly will be back, and I'll have Matt with me. So, hope you enjoyed the fucking RowdCAST, and I gotta take a look at Skype, because that's not usually the name that my Skype's showing up, and for some reason it's like a new version of Skype or something, and it's fucking with me. So. I got to figure that out so I can. It should be working. I want people to be able to call in and look face to face with somebody when we're having a conversation. So, it's another Wednesday night. You're going to see a lot more podcasts with a lot more different people, and eventually I might start working on a new show. I'm thinking about. Something new, a new formula, not just a podcast. It'll actually be like some kind of show with my friends. And, I'm thinking maybe with Matt, I can work with him, kind of maybe some comedy in it, maybe some stand-up or something like that, where we could get some fresh minutes of material maybe from Matt, and maybe I'll do some too. And I don't know. I got some brainstorming to do, but I have some ideas, and I think you guys would dig them. So, I want to do that, but more than likely you'll hear me back on here probably this weekend, if not Sunday night, and I'm looking to bring Matt on again and talk with him about the game. So I think I got another guest lined up for, I believe, the following Friday. Cool cat you guys will be really interested in, and as long as things are looking like they're gonna match up, and we're gonna get them on here. So another night in the studio, speaking the truth, speaking that RowdCAST vibe that you guys dig. So, I appreciate all the love that I get. Appreciate all you people out there that share me and tell people about it and talk about the RowdCAST and enjoy what I'm doing. I love you all. Be good to each other. I'm out. Peace.